Well, KZ's put out another new IEM. It's called the ZES, and this one has the largest dynamic driver that they have put inside of one of their IEMs to date. They promised that, along with an electrostatic driver, is going to be this new hybrid sound that we're going to absolutely love. But will we? In today's episode of Hobart's Reviews, we're going to go over the specs, we'll unbox them and dive in up close and see how they look, and I'll show you what's in the box, and then we'll come back up top, look at the graph, and do a sound test. Yep, I'm going to listen to some tunes, and I'm going to let you know how they sound. So stick around and hang with me in today's episode of Hobart's Reviews. Hey everybody, welcome back to Hobart's Reviews. My name is Hobart. So KZ has put out this new metal IEM that has the largest dynamic driver that they have put inside of an IEM to date. Normally we get a 10mm dynamic driver, but the new ZES has a 12mm dynamic driver. Now, if you think about a speaker like a subwoofer, as I talk about in a lot of my videos, you're going to get a lot deeper bass with a 12-inch subwoofer than you are with a 8-inch or a 10-inch subwoofer. So it's along the same ideas where they're hoping to get a little bit deeper bass, not more bass, just deeper bass by going up in size with that 12mm dynamic driver. Now, they have coupled it with a 6.8mm electrostatic driver or static driver or a magnetostatic driver, whatever you want to call it. And that is a 6.8mm that is going to be handling the highs and the ultra highs, and the dynamic driver will be handling the lows and the mids is how they've got it separated. So those two together create this hybrid sound that is supposed to blow our minds, but will it? We're going to find out a little bit later in the video when we do a sound test. We'll listen to some music and I'll let you know how it sounds. But first, let's go over some of the basic specs. I already told you about the drivers that are in there. This is an all-metal casing. It's got some resin or some plastic windows, as I may call it, but for the most part, it is a all-metal housing. They're a little bit heavier than some of the all-resin or the half-resin ones that we're used to, but they're not too heavy. You're going to get them in two separate colors. You get a silver color with like green windows, and you get a black color. I don't know what color the little windows are, maybe like a smoke color. I'm not sure, I haven't seen them. But I have the silver pair. You also have the option for a mic or no mic. Keep in mind, if you do have a mic option, you'll be able to control all of your phone calls, you'll be able to control your music, all with a touch of a button right there on your cord. Now, speaking of the cord, that is my favorite thing about the new ZES. It's an incredible cord. It's an updated cord. I think it's an 8-core, 200-strand silver-plated cable. It's got the straight end on it. It's a real good cord, so I can't wait to show you that here in just a few minutes. But I'd say, KZ, if you're watching this, and hopefully you do, please include this cord with all of the IEMs in the future instead of what we've been getting. Not that they're bad, they're just not as good as this cord. So we'll go over that in the up close here in just a few minutes. So I think I've basically gone over the colors, the casing, we've gone over the mic and no mic. Hey, we know the basics. So what do you say? Let's go ahead and unbox these guys up close. I'll show you what's in the box, and we'll take a look at the ZES up close, and then we'll come back up top, we'll do the graph and listen to some music, all right? So let's go ahead and go down close. Well, before we dive in, if you like what I'm doing so far, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell so every time I put out a video, you'll be notified. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so this is what it looks like. This is the KZ ZES box. It's standard KZ boxes. Down here at the bottom it says 12mm dynamic unit with electrostatic and dynamic hybrid technology. Build a hi-fi dark horse. So there's the box. Here's one of the sides. And the other side is showing our silver and gun black colors with the no mic and mic option. This is a silver no mic. Taking a look at the back and some of the specifications here, your plug type is a 3.5mm. It is not a 90 degree, it is a straight one, which I'll show you here in just a minute. The pin type is the C pin or the 2-pin 0.75mm connector. That connects to the IEMs. The frequency is 20 to 40,000 hertz, impedance 32 ohms, and sensitivity is 113 dB. So that is what the box looks like. Let's go ahead and open them up. And there we go, the standard KZ look that we see here. We'll take off this little plastic cover here, and there you go. First, let's take a look at this cable. So this is going to be your straight 3.5mm connector. It's beautiful. This is an upgraded cable. It is an 8-core, 200-strand, silver-plated cable. And one of my favorite things that it has on it, got this nice little Y here. And there are your ear hooks. So it's a really nice upgrade. KZ, please include this in all future IEMs from you. It's a huge upgrade. It's really, really nice. So look at that. So that is the cable that you get with it. We'll go ahead and take a look at the IEMs now. So we'll pull them out. And that is what it looks like. You can see the green windows, as I call it. Little green windows. Other than that, that is a metal casing. You can see the hole there for the dynamic driver. Right up in there. And this is the nozzle, a little skinnier than normal. Hopefully that doesn't affect the sound. Got your earwax screen there. Side profile. If you haven't worn IEMs, that's where you're going to connect your cable. And then inside there, you can kind of see the dynamic driver. 12 millimeter, the first one in any KZ IEM. Doesn't really have that ear hump that we're used to seeing, so it's just kind of a universal shape. And the silicone ear tips that come with it, not too shabby. Some of them get real flimsy. Again, if you've never put one of these on before, I usually just squeeze the side like this, which opens it up, put it in there, boom, you're ready to go. So this is what they look like together. And if it's your first time with IEMs and you're wondering how this connector goes on, it goes on just like this. You've got your 2-pin connector, little pins in there. Got your little 2-pin connector on your IEM, and you're just going to press in just like that. Now this is on backwards, I believe, right now, but we're actually going to do it like this. And this is going to go over your ear, over the back of your ear. All right. Well, that's what you get inside the box. That's the up-close look at the KZ ZES. What do you say? Let's go up top. We'll take a look at the graph real quick, and then we'll listen to these guys and see how they sound. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the graph for the KZ ZES. And as you can see from over here, they've taken a big stab at those low frequencies with this 12 millimeter dynamic driver. And they've started off at 20 hertz at the 123 decibel range. And they drop it off pretty quickly, pull back those mids really sharply until we get into around the 800 to 1,000 range, and then it starts to bring it back up. We get about 120 dBs at 2K, we get about 118 dBs at 5K, and then we get about 114 dBs at 8 to 10K. So what I'm expecting to hear is low frequencies and the bass. The mids pulled back quite a bit, and the highs not so high, if that makes sense, with that electrostatic or electromagneto driver that who knows what they're calling it these days. So what do you say? Let's go ahead and put these babies in. I'll show you how they look, and then we'll go ahead and listen to some tunes. All right, so I'm back, and I got these guys in my ears, and this is what they look like. Now, these ones do stick out a little bit more than some of the other IEMs, and one of the reasons is because I've got to use the large ear tips in order to get them to seal in my ears. Normally, I use mediums on pretty much every set of IEMs, but they just don't seal right, so I had to go to the bigger ones, and when you go to the bigger ones, they, of course, make them stick out some more. So I'm not a big fan so far of how they fit or how the ear tips fit, but I do have some memory foam ear tips, which I do recommend to put on the end of these, and hopefully they'll fit with these smaller stems that they have on them, but we'll have to see. As of now, this is what I'm gonna do. This is how they look. And we're gonna go ahead and listen to some tunes. I'm gonna try a bunch of different types of music so we can get a good feel. First, gonna try out some Tribal Seeds. So this is Tribal Seeds in Your Eyes. Starts off with basically a bass guitar playing. I definitely can hear the sub bass already so far. There's a hi-hat going in the beginning of there, and it's nice and clear. Okay, so the vocals came in, and already I can hear that, yes, to me, this sounds a little bit pulled back. It's not as bright, a little bit not as bright, I guess I could say. It's a perfect way of saying it. Some of the KZ IEMs can be really bright and have a lot of that real clear treble up top, and some don't like that. I don't like too much, but I do like a little bit more than this. But for those of you who are looking for those highs to be pulled back and it be not so bright, this is it. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to some different types of music. We're gonna do, how about some Post Malone? We'll go ahead and do Rockstar and see how hip hop sounds. Wow. Hey. All right, so definitely when you're listening to Post Malone, I'm listening to Rockstar, and with that bass that's in this song, it's pretty much going through the whole song. It is incredible. I've always, in my videos, I'm gonna do it right now, compare what I'm hearing to a speaker system with a subwoofer in the trunk. So let's start off with that Bose system. With the Bose system, I'm gonna turn the highs down a little bit. I'm gonna definitely turn the highs down maybe to about 75%. And then I'm gonna take the bass. The subwoofer is gonna be a 12. I'm definitely gonna say we're in the 12 category here as far as the low and the deepness that you're getting with some of this. So when you're hearing Post Malone and that bass is rocking and then it drops another level, so do the IEMs. So you can definitely hear the deepness that you get from that 12 millimeter dynamic driver. Post Malone sounds incredible. I mean, look at it on my face. It's incredible. It's incredible. So, okay, when it comes to hip hop, these guys are good. And it's not for overpowering bass. It's just the deepness that it gets is just incredible. So there's some Post Malone. How about some Tool? Bass is going right now. Guitar just came in. Danny's playing on those toms in the background. Very detailed. Ooh, wow. So far Tool sounds incredible as well. I mean, again, it's not very trebly at all. The bass is punchy because there's not really that much, rumbling bass in this type of music. So when Danny hits that bass pedal, it boom, boom. The bass sounds nice and clear. When it does get deep, it can get deep. But Tool so far sounds pretty darn good as well. Yeah, every time he hits that kick drum, it's like dun dun dun. You can tell that that 12 millimeter is doing a little bit of work there. So let's go ahead and find something else. Coldplay. Wow, the very beginning of this song, do-do-do-do-do-do, where they're kind of building up. It's just really nice. The bass is, it's almost encompassing. Again, not overpowering. It can get there. It's like having the difference between having a 10-inch and a 12-inch subwoofer in your trunk. When you put on different songs, you're like, whoa, that's like a whole new world, All right, so turned up really loud on the Pixel 6 Pro that I've got. It's the vocals and everything. It's pretty darn loud. I can hear that 6.8 millimeter electrostatic driver doing its thing on those highs and those ultra highs for sure. Yeah, up until this point, I thought that these guys really didn't. They had the highs pulled back, but there's almost even a little bit of hissiness in Chris's voice when listening to something just like this from Coldplay. It's really intense. So I guess it does have it in it, but maybe doesn't show itself in all the different songs. So Coldplay sounds pretty good. I wouldn't say as good as Post Malone or as good as Tool did. And finally here, what do you say? Let's end with something I don't normally listen to, but it was on here because probably my wife is Miranda Lambert. Let's listen to some country music. I have no idea what to put. How about Mama's Broken Heart? Wow, that Miranda Lambert, she's a sassy one, isn't she? Well, I mean, I guess if you had to talk about country music and stuff like Coldplay, in my opinion, these might not be the best. They just sound about average. There's nothing really spectacular about listening to music like that, at least in my few seconds of listening to it. But when it comes to something like Post Malone or Stick Figure or Travel Seeds or Tool, it was on another level. Sounded incredible. The highs and the mids and the lows just were really nice. The deepness of the bass, you could definitely tell. Not so much in something like Coldplay and Miranda Lambert, but it really sounded nice. So if that's your type of music, these might be the IEMs for you. If that's your type of music, then these might not be the IEMs for you. But overall, I think they're really nice. They come in at a great price, and you can get them on Amazon. I can go ahead and put a link in the description for you if you want to go ahead and buy a set of these guys. It will be an affiliate link, so it does help out my channel if you do. So if you want to get a set, I'll put a link for the silver and the black, and also the mic and the no mic option. So that'll be down below. If you have any questions, please go ahead and leave them down in the comment section. I really appreciate any questions that you have. I'll be happy to answer as many of them as I can. Overall, not my favorite IEMs. I really do like the KZ ZES. I like the KZ by HBB, DQ6S, and the CCA-CRAs. The CCA-CRAs are what these being compared to. I'd say if you had to ask me personally, I'd go with the CRAs over these guys. I just like the way they sound. I like the crispness of the highs. I like the sound of the bass. It's just my personal preference, but if you had to ask me, I would go with those over these guys. But these are still some really nice IEMs. If you're looking for an all-metal housing, if you're looking for something nice and simple, some deep bass, some good sounding IEMs, then the KZ ZES is a good choice for you. So, like I said, link's gonna be in the description. Thank you so much, my friends, for joining me today. My name is Hobart for Hobart's Reviews and the KZ ZES IEMs. Have a great rest of your day. See ya.
I grew up in a place where they told you what to chase, told you how to run the race. Every move was on the page, but I didn't like their way. Had to fight and misbehave, had to find a way to change, had to leave to find my way. Caught up in a daydream, I beat my mind up there almost daily. It's how I pass time, no opinions safely. It's how I understand what I want.